All right, in this video I'm going to go over probably one of my favorite tools in here, and that is this little guy right here. I click on that, define plane, but more specifically, you have three options in here, and I'm going to focus on 3-point plane. This one has saved me a lot of time. It's been probably one of the cooler things that I've figured out how to do, and it's pretty fun. It's easy. It's might look a little intimidating at first, but it's yeah. Once you get into it and you figure it out, it's pretty simple. Okay, let's close that out. Now, if you've never been in here, I made this drawing. This none of these lines have anything to do with what you're going to be grading here, other than I just made this just for you to visualize something. Okay, say say this is a parking lot and you have a catch basin right in the middle and you want everything to drain down. This is the most simplest example I can come up with. So you're going to have everything drained down. Everything around the perimeter is exactly the same elevation. We'll do point elevations. Bring that up real quick. Come on, come on. So all these are the same elevation. And we're going to be grading from these corner points right down to this low point catch basin. Okay. Like I said, the only thing that get rid of that. The only thing that these lines and these boxes are for, one, these lines here in this particular case. Now your situation might be different. Your triangles might be different shaped. You know, chances are you're probably not going to be doing a perfect box or rectangle or whatever. So just keep that in mind. These triangles, these points, this is what we're going to be using. We're not using any of these lines. You could leave these lines and make these lines if you want reference lines, and I suggest actually making these on here because they don't affect anything and they give you a good reference. So in this particular case, because everything's draining down to this point, I don't want to and I'm only going to be, this 3-point plane does exactly what it says. It lets you grade a flat plane in between 3 points. In this case, I'm going to be going from this point, and that point. Okay, I'm going to grade this thing down from the top down. So I'm going to do this triangle first, then I'm going to do the two side triangles, and then I'm going to do the bottom one. Okay, but I don't want to undercut any of these side ones. And let me show you how this works. I'm going to select these points. Let me get rid of this just to clean it up because, like I said, we don't need these lines for anything. Delete line. Yes, yes. Okay. Go into define plane. You are going to select 3-point plane. I already have them selected, but let me bump this out a little bit. Now I'm going to select my first 3 points. Doesn't matter what order you pick them. It doesn't care because it's just given the points. Okay. Once we select those, that's the area that we're going to grade first. It tells you what points you picked, just so you can make sure. If you want to put it an offset, you can. I'm going to leave that alone. Now I can walk out here somewhere in here. I'm going to have like a fill, or pretty much right on grade. As I walk down, I get closer, I have cuts. Okay. Let me zoom in a little bit. If I go beyond this line, you can see I'm still going to have cuts. I'm going to undercut this. So that's why it's a good idea to just paint that line so your operator knows and you know exactly where to stop while you're grading this one area. Once you get that area graded out, okay, here's the cool part. Well, not the cool part, but we want to say, let's switch to this triangle over here. Okay. We're going to back this off again. We're going to reselect those 2 points because we want to use those again. But we want to use this new one over here. We'll accept that. Now we can grade out all this area. And you'll notice somewhere over here I'm going to have grade. And it's got to be in line with my other point. As I come down, I'm going to have that same cut. Again, you don't want to go beyond this line because you're going to undercut this area here. And the same as if you go over here. Now remember, these planes, they're not constrained to these points. They go infinitely beyond this area that you have, these points that you have. If I go out here, you can see I have a bigger cut as I go out. That same percentage of slope is going to be projected. As if I go this way, I'm going to have a bigger cut. Okay, bigger fill, bigger cut. Okay, this was actually a little bit of the cool part that I was saying. If you have to go do something else, like you have to go check some grade somewhere else or do a pothole or whatever it is, you go do that and then you come back and you've got to get with the operator again and set in here to grade this area. It's as simple as selecting that. It remembers the last points that you had, even your offset, and you just click accept, and now you're back in that mode, and you can hop back and forth as many times as you want, and it doesn't affect anything. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple. Like I said, you might adjust your triangles depending on what you're doing. You might have little tiny sliver triangles. You might have big wide ones. You know, you might go in and adjust all these different elevations and things like that. But yeah, give it a try and mess around with it. It's actually pretty cool.